we are entering into the August month. So to start with a new month, you should start with new hope, new energy and new effort. The main and most and important thing all you need keep in mind is, for this exam, the most important quality is consistency. So whatever you do, might be your static part of preparing or current affairs or CSAT or optional, whatever you do, the way you prepare and the way you organized, that should be consistent forever until you get service. So with that note, we will start with today's news. So fiscal deficit touched 25.3% of full year target in June. So this comes under GS3 economy. So central fiscal deficit at the end of the first quarter was 25.3%. According to the government data, fiscal deficit means that gap between the deficit means something, a shortage. Fiscal deficit means which is a shortage or a gap between expenditure and the revenue. So this was said by CGA. The deficit stood at 21.2% of the budget estimates in the previous year. Now it is actually high. So all you need to know for prelims is about fiscal deficit, which is the negative balance that arises whenever a government spends more money than it receives in the form of tax or other revenues. So it is the difference between the government's total expenditure and its total revenue, excluding borrowings and liabilities. So it is an indication that total borrowings needed by the government. A high fiscal deficit can lead to inflation, devaluation of the currency, and an increase in the debt burden, while a lower fiscal deficit is seen as a positive sign of fiscal discipline and a healthy economy. FRBM Act enacted in 2003. So this act set target for the government to bring down fiscal deficit, and it aimed to introduce transparency in India's fiscal management system. So the act long-term objective is for India to achieve fiscal stability and to give RBI flexibility to deal with inflation. So as per the requirement of the act, the center need to limit the fiscal deficit to 3% of the country by March 31, 2021. But whatever we did, we could not able to do that. So while government debt should be restricted to 40% of GDP by 2024, that is also an important concern. So in 2016, UPSC have been asked about the deficit. El Nino effect will suppress rainfall in the second half of the monsoon, says IMD. So there was a very torrential rain, heavy torrential rain in July to August, usually the second rainiest of the 4 monsoon months, that is seen to be the below normal. So a strengthening El Nino and the absence of meteorological conditions that could have offset EI will combine to suppress rainfall in the second half of the monsoon. So El Nino is a climate pattern that describes the unusual warming of surface water in the eastern tropical Pacific Ocean, and it is the warm phase of the ENSO, that is El Nino Southern Oscillation. It occurs more frequently compared to La Nina. So La Nina is not, it's a cool phase, where El Nino is a warm phase. Unusual cooling will happen in the eastern Pacific, and it lasts between 1 to 3 years. Both phenomena tend to peak during the northern hemisphere winter. Okay, in 2010 again it have been asked this question. So ISRO successfully put Chandrayaan-3 in translunar orbit. So this comes under GS3 Science Center. So ISRO performed the translunar injection to slingshot Chandrayaan-3 towards the moon, and this was performed successfully from ISRO telemetry, tracking and command network in Bengaluru. So translunar means which is a vast expanse surrounding Earth-Moon system that is far beyond the moon's orbit, and it is dominated by the two body gravity fields. The spacecraft performed this to begin a lunar transfer from a low circular parking orbit. Means the orbit there will be like above the stratosphere The orbit can be classified into low Earth orbit, middle Earth orbit, and high Earth orbit. The large TLI burn usually performed by a chemical rocket engine. So as the spacecraft begins coasting on the lunar transfer arc, its trajectory approximates an elliptical orbit above the Earth with an apogee near the radius of the moon's orbit. Orbit means a path, that is a regular and repeating path where an object takes around. That is called orbit. So the object moving around a planet in an orbit is called a satellite. So based on the heights of satellites, orbit can be classified as high Earth, medium and low Earth orbit. Thank you. If you have any queries, feel free to contact this number. Have a great day.